roads I've traveled on, somehow I'm still standing strong. There were nights I couldn't see what tomorrow held for me, yet every step and every mile He'd been watching all the while. I thought I walked those roads alone till I saw the places I was shown. How many times did heaven step in when danger stood around the bend? How many times did mercy stand between this world and my plans? I may never know till glory lands how often I was held by unseen hands, but looking back I understand God was working through unseen hands. Maybe it was that delayed flight, maybe it was that stormy night, maybe it was one wrong turn that kept me safe, though I never learned. Maybe it was a whispered thought that stopped me where trouble was sought, or a stranger sent to help somehow that I understand much better now. What I called coincidence may have been providence. How many times did heaven step in when danger stood around the bend? How many times did mercy stand between this world and my plans? I may never know till glory lands how often I was held by unseen hands, but looking back I understand God was working through unseen hands. For He shall give His angels charge to keep thee in all thy ways. Though I could not see them there, His protection filled my days. And when I reach that heavenly shore, I may finally understand just how often God was near through those unseen hands. How many times did heaven step in when fear was stronger than my faith? How many times did God protect this wandering heart along the way? I may never know till glory lands how often I was held by unseen hands, but one thing I know beyond a doubt, I've never walked alone. No, I've never walked alone. Unseen hands, unseen hands. Oh, oh, unseen hands, unseen hands, unseen hands. All the way home.
Have you ever looked back at a moment in your life and wondered what would have happened if things had gone just a little differently? Maybe it was a delayed flight. Maybe it was a road you didn't take. Maybe it was a decision you almost made at the time. It felt inconvenient, but years later, you wondered, what was God protecting me from? The Bible tells us in Psalm 91:11, "For He shall give His angels charge over thee, to keep thee in all thy ways." Think about that for a moment. Not some of your ways, not only the easy days, all thy ways. There are moments in life we remember clearly. The close call, the near accident, the storm we barely made it through, the hunting trip, the military deployment, the surgery, the diagnosis, the icy Montana road that could have ended differently. And yet, here we are. The writer of Hebrews tells us, "Are they not all ministering spirits, sent forth to minister for them, who shall be heirs of salvation?" God has never promised us a life free from trouble, but He has promised His presence, and sometimes that presence arrives in ways we never see. Maybe through a stranger, maybe through a warning in your spirit, maybe through a delay that frustrated you, maybe through a door that refused to open. We call them coincidences. God often calls them providence. I wonder how many stories will be told in heaven. Stories that begin with, "If I had left 5 minutes earlier, if I had taken that road, if that person hadn't shown up, if God hadn't intervened." Perhaps one day we'll finally understand what we never saw here. Perhaps one day we'll learn how many times heaven stepped in. How many times God protected us from dangers we never knew existed. How many times mercy stood watch while we slept. How many times angels carried out assignments we never witnessed. The psalmist wrote, "The angel of the Lord encampeth round about them that fear Him, and delivereth them." What a comforting thought. Tonight before you go to sleep, take a moment and thank God, not only for the blessings you can see, but for the protection you never saw, not only for the prayers He answered, but for the dangers He quietly moved out of your path. Because the truth is, we may never know this side of heaven, just how often God was watching over us. But one thing is certain, we have never walked alone. Never. Not for a single day.
There were valleys I remember, where the shadows gathered near, and there were nights I lay awake, bound by worry, doubt, and fear. I thought I carried every burden by myself through every storm, but looking back I see your footprints leading me safely home. What I thought was luck was mercy all along, and what I called coincidence was you being strong. I never walked alone, not one step on my own, through every trial, every tear. Lord, you were always near. When I could not see the way, you carried me through another day. Now my heart will testify, I never walked alone. There were roads I should not travel, and doors that never opened wide. Now I thank you for the answers that at the time I didn't like. For every danger I never know